name is Matt Price, and in the last, 3, 4, 5 years, you may have heard about or read about a resource called Worshipedia. And I'm here to announce that Worshipedia, happily, it's a resource that is part of the ACT family. And so we're going to show a 90-minute video here that lays out in great detail what Worshipedia is all about. So go ahead.
Worshipedia.org, connecting God's people to the transforming power of worship that is biblically sound, historically connected, and spiritually directed. Worshipedia is a non-profit learning and resource center established for all individual believers, students of worship, artists and musicians, worship leaders, and ministers at all levels of service, who are fervently seeking to reclaim God's story and the personal and corporate applications of worship that is biblically sound, historically connected, and spiritually directed. Our intent is to develop resources and provide services to help Christian worshipers become complete worshipers. In short, our passion is to proclaim the story of the God who became one of us to rescue the world. Subscribe to Worshipedia today and gain immediate access to the great minds in worship scholarship, worship leading, and worship renewal. Your subscription to Worshipedia will include the worship practices of more than 60 traditional and contemporary denominations, ministries, and fellowships, writings and resources from more than 600 scholars, ministers, and worship leaders, foundational materials that describe and explain the worshiping church's biblical heritage and historical background, and applicational resources for planning and leading worship services. Sign up is an easy two-step process, and you can cancel your subscription at any time. Join us today at Worshipedia in understanding the past, renewing the present, and impacting the future of your worship experience.
If you haven't met Dave, he's the genius who put this together, and even made my voice sound like Charlton Heston. So well done, Dave. I'm going to show you just a brief 7-point slide, just to give you. We're ready. Let's see. I'm hitting a button. All right. Oh, okay. This will just give you a quick overview of the 7 categories of content. This is a living resource, and by that I mean it will be ever growing. And let's see here. So the first 2 sections are foundational. You can see here, and I won't read this to you. You can see the first section is biblical foundations of worship. And you can see it's fairly comprehensive, Old and New Testament, as well as the early church. The second foundational section, the history of Christian worship, including the Eastern Orthodoxy, several historic models, theologies, contemporary worship, and then preparing for personal and corporate worship renewal. Then the rest of the sections are applicational, as the video said. So section on Sundays, structure, style, and content. You can read there. And then here's the gold nugget, music and the arts and Christian worship. So as you can see, the various art forms, visual arts, drama, dance, architecture, mime, and the literary arts. But of course, a focus on the musical arts. And again, I won't read it to you, but you can see it's fairly comprehensive. The subcategories, worship throughout the year, the Christian year, Advent, Christmas, Epiphany, Lent, Holy Week, and Easter, including Pentecost, and then resources for planning seasonal worship. Sacred actions, foot washing, communion, baptism, anointing with oil, and then services, child dedication, marriage, funerals. Even if you're from a Baptist background, you're familiar with solemn assemblies. I don't know if other denominations do that or not, but our Baptist friends do. And then lastly, ministry, mission, and outreach. And again, these categories are where the content will fall. And we hope you'll, if you have any questions, ask me, Byron, and we hope you'll avail yourself of this.